Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've been thinking of, and I really want you guys' feedback, I've been thinking about reviewing new comics, and since I love the X-Men, I went back and I got X-Men #1. I haven't read an X-Men in a couple years anyway. And I pretty much missed the X of Swords and a whole bunch of other stuff. I did read a few issues of them on Krakoa and stuff. So I guess Krakoa has been killed and they've been displaced. So it seemed like a good place to jump on, and hopefully I can enjoy a new X-Men comic book, which I haven't in a while. But before we get into that, I like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. It's a 12-page, full-size, full-color comic. You can get this at patreon.com/Alexander Turbin or Alex Turbin. I can't remember which one. I'll put it in the description anyway. A link, that is. Yeah, you can pick that up a Patreon for $3 a month, and you get it sent to you, or you can go to my website, alexanderturbin.com, or you can message me at alexturbin0441@yahoo.com, which is my email, or alexturbin0441 at Instagram. If you email me, text me somewhere else, Instagram or whatever, because it often goes to my spam file, and I don't often look there. At alexanderturbin.com, there's also Mutandis and Forlorn and all kinds of other extra stuff that I've done previously in my art career. Now that we're done with the plugging, let's get on to X-Men. So I'm the biggest X-Men fan in the whole universe. You all know that. So I had to get X-Men #1. I'm going to go back and get Uncanny X-Men #1 as well. I have the 4th and 6th issue at my latest stop at my local comic shop. So this is X-Men #1. This is the Peach Momoko variant. I don't really particularly love Peach Momoko. I mean, she's obviously a gifted artist, but it's just not really my favorite kind of stuff. But it was better than the regular issues cover artist, I think. So I don't really know a whole lot about what has gone on, except for that Krakoa was destroyed. So Krakoa was killed. What about Kid Krakoa? Isn't there a young Krakoa? Actually, I think, didn't they go off into space or something like that? Anyway, if you're an X-Men fan, please fill me in a little bit as to what's going on, what has been going on. So this, like I said, I haven't read an X-Men in a while, so I really don't want to be confused, and I really want to have a good time. It's written by Jed MacKay and penciled by Ryan Stegman, with colorist Marta Gracia and inker J.P. Mayer and all this other stuff. So it starts off in Alaska. Apparently this is a new beginning. It kind of doesn't really feel so new beginning-ish. It kind of feels just like a rehash of what has gone before. And I guess that is just the nature of comic books and the nature of the X-Men and stuff like that. They apparently have had some sort of altercation at a city or town in Alaska, and there was a giant robot that was destroying the town, and the X-Men came in and saved them. Apparently there was a factory that was creating Sentinels, and so the X-Men took over the factory, and that is their new home base of operations. I would much prefer Westchester and the mansion to be their home base of operations, but even being an old guy, you got to think, you got to roll with the times. You got to experience new stuff and just give things a try before you crap on them. So I'm not going to crap on this new Alaskan adventure. I didn't crap on Krakoa. I didn't crap on Australia, even though I really do wish that they would just go back to New York, Westchester County, where they belong. So the chief of police has gone to the factory in the X-Men's new location, and she's kind of just checking things out, and she's going to try to put the people at ease and just kind of let them know that the X-Men are there to help them, and they're not there to destroy the town or whatever. So she goes there. She's met by Hank McCoy, and then he's talking about the other side of the group, the other part of the group, which is the fighters, because apparently there's two groups which are fighters, and one is fighters, and the other group is more cerebral, and they do more I don't know, sciencey stuff like Hank McCoy and stuff. So they show up at uh, where Santo Marco. I don't know where that is. Is that a real place? And it's some sort of. I guess the bad guys in the previous iteration were called Orcus, and they destroyed Krakoa. That's where they killed Krakoa, and they killed a whole bunch of the other X-Men. And apparently, Wolverine is being held captive there, but also there's some sort of new blend of robotics and mutants, where they're not actually enemies of mutants, but they want to consume the mutants to become mutants. And it's a lot like the they've introduced multiple different types of mutants before, and I guess this is just the newest iteration. So the team is Quentin Quire. I can't remember what his superhero name is. What is his name? What is his superhero name? I can't remember. And Psylocke, Scott, Cyclops, Magic, Tempest, and Kane Marco, who is Juggernaut, obviously. So it's an okay team. It's not my favorite. I think the other team that's led by Rogue I'll probably like that a little bit more. And I've always been more of an uncanny X-Men fan than a regular X-Men fan. Even back when they had the Jim Lee version, and then they had the regular Uncanny X-Men. I always preferred the uncanny versions. So they have this new ship, which is actually kind of cool. It doesn't really look like the Blackbird or anything like that, which I kind of miss, but it's still kind of cool looking. And they'll show it here. They show it here. It's just it looks more like a train than a spaceship or a vehicle for the X-Men. But they're going to send Magic and Juggernaut down into the fray, the Orcus bad guys, and just kind of let them lay on some fighting with the Orcus. And they've got a little bit of cool dialogue between them, Kane and Magic. They've got, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of end up as a thing. I've always enjoyed Juggernaut as part of the X-Men, because it feels like if he just keeps hating his brother and doesn't really evolve as a character, that's really a misuse of a good character, because I really think that Kane Marco is a fantastic character. And yes, the fact that he's Xavier's brother and he hates him and all this stuff is thrown into the mix, and their dad was abusive and all of that stuff. It's really kind of it's cool. I like it. I enjoy it. I really like it. A lot of the bad guys in the X-Men have become good guys. Magneto, Rogue. There's a million other ones. Sabretooth for a while. So the fact that Juggernaut has become one of the X-Men is totally cool with me. I love it. And his repertoire with Magic is pretty cool, because they're two of the darker characters. So they've got a good little thing going where they give each other a hard time and stuff. Tempest, I don't really know Tempest. I'm trying to think if I have the issue of her in it. I'm going to go digging, and because if she becomes a powerful or important character, I'd like to have the first appearance of her. So they go and they fight Orcus. She lays on I guess she does hot and cold stuff. She lays on the cold and kind of slows Orcus down, and they just kind of do their fighting thing. This book feels heavy on fighting and exposition as to maybe what's to come, and less about what has happened before. I do enjoy the slower moments in the X-Men. Like, I love the fight scenes and the cool splash pages where they're jumping into the fight and they're having a fight scene. Everybody loves that. And Ryan Stegman, I have not really had a lot of exposure to Ryan Stegman, and I'm trying to think of, did he do anything other than the Venom stuff? Did he do Thor? I can't remember, but I'm really enjoying Ryan Stegman as of this reading and reading this comic. I was talking to some of my friends online, some of the other artists, and I was like saying that new comic book artists really don't. There's none that have like a unique style that really brings out any of the characters like a Walt Simonson or John Byrne or Romita Jr. Everybody kind of has just this fluid art school kind of style where it's more artsy than it is comic booky. And I would kind of like it to go back to the comic booky feel of a comic book instead of this new kind of way that it's done. But Ryan Stegman seems to have this comic book feel really down pat. It reminds me. He reminds me a lot of Arthur Adams, especially in his faces and stuff, in his women's faces, but also just in his poses and stuff, and the way he goes about his narrative art and everything. What he has a little bit more, I think, better than Arthur Adams. He does some really great foreshortening and his layouts. I really love his layouts of his pages and his panels. Maybe a little bit more than Arthur Adams. I don't know. I'm going to have to really kind of delve into his artwork and see the next few issues if I'm really won over by Ryan Stegman. He's really great, though. I mean, he's obviously a fantastic artist, and I just have to think about whether or not he's going to ever enter the pantheon of the great artists, in my mind, anyway. Because here enters Wolverine, he's been captured by the Orcus, and he doesn't really do anything Wolverine-ish, which is all right, I guess. So the X-Men break in. They pretty much save Wolverine. They smash up Orcus. They're looking to have contact with the new 6 mutants that they found, but they're don't really, the new mutants. They're not new mutants, but they're mutants that they haven't found are they want nothing to do with them. So they're just kind of fighting the Sentinel creatures that Orcus uses, and then they're kind of just going along doing that. It continues along with it's like a comparison. You've got the action going on one part of the story, and you've got the slower part of the story where Hank McCoy is showing the sheriff how they're growing vegetables and crops and all of the different things that they're doing to transform that factory into something that can be that they can be proud of as their new home base. So that's kind of cool. It's nice comparison to have the slow talking and stuff and the action in the other panels. So they're still fighting the Orcus, and I'm really, my biggest complaint is the Orcus uniforms or costumes or whatever. They look like AIM. Can somebody explain to me why they look like AIM and only they're a little bit goofier looking? Are they a part of AIM? I don't know. But then they've got the X on their forehead, and they're saying that that's because they're actually mutants, and but they have like a mutant symbiotic relationship with the robotic android stuff going on. They wipe out all of the bad guys, and they rescue Wolverine, and they're trying to contact those new mutants and stuff. But then they're attacked again by more of Orcus, and they're actually adults who are not transformed when they become teens, because that's what happens usually with mutants is somebody becomes a teen, and once they hit puberty, then their mutant power manifests themselves. So that's why mutants have always been children and always hunted as kids and stuff like that. So they come down, which I love this page. This is a fantastic page. I often don't like too many splash pages in a comic book, and I kind of think that there are too many. Like you've got the first page, and that's a splash page, kind of a splash page, but that's all right. That's an establishing shot, and that's pretty cool. This is a double page spread. I kind of wish this had been broken down into different components to really tell us what was going on previously, because as a new reader to the new X-Men, I really kind of felt very lost actually as to what was going on, who killed Krakoa, what they did after that, why, when did this happen, when did the fight for the town in Alaska happen, when did that happen? Did that happen at the same time that Krakoa was being killed? I have no idea. So I wish that they had taken a little bit more space, more of this, and turned it into story space instead of just them zooming into the island or whatever to go save Wolverine and to kind of show who the new team is. They could have done that. They could have had this panel, kept this panel, and because that shows kind of who they are. But this could have been a lot more expositionary, where it actually tells you what's going on or what has been happening in the previous books. Again, here's another splash page. I'm not really entirely sure why. It's again, it's not completely a splash page because there's two panels, but it's too much of this posing stuff, very Jim Lee-ish, which is really the whole time when comic books really changed, when you introduced the Jim Lee and the whole Image guys, where they have a lot of splash pages, a lot of big panels, and a lot of stuff like that. And I kind of just wish that they had a little bit more story and a little bit less splash pages, and so I would know a little bit more what's going on and slow things down. The tempo of the new X-Men comics has been way too fast. A lot of times that's really good, but when every issue is just super high intensity tempo, you have to have some issues where it slows down and they talk about the characters, they talk about relationships and this kind of stuff. And they do that. They do that in the issue, but it's just there's so much going on that it takes such a backseat to the intense action that it doesn't really give you a chance to breathe. You really need a chance to breathe, and that's one of the reasons that Chris Claremont was so great, was that he gave you great action and great fight scenes and stuff, but he also gave you the quiet times to breathe and to know the characters and to learn what's going on. So they're attacked by Orcus again, and the lady detective is meeting all of the different X-Men, and she meets Magneto. Apparently Magneto is part of the X-Men again. I wish I knew why. They really should have had some kind of backstory as to why he's with the X-Men, and where's Xavier? Did Xavier not come back? But he's kind of mean to her, and she's almost goes for a gun, and they have this little dialogue about how Beast says that he's instigating or antagonizing her, and he shouldn't do that, and blah 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 blah. So more action with the battle squad and the Orcus, and they're fighting them, and apparently, like I said, they're mutants, so they had different powers. It doesn't really show exactly what powers they have. He can take a punch from Juggernaut. That's a pretty good power. And he has some sort of black hole, and he's wiggly. So I kind of wish, even though I don't really like when they explain who they like in the old comics, they would show the character, they would have a little dialogue spot where it would show their name and it would say what their power is. I don't love that, but if you're an artist and you're using your art skills instead of your dialogue or whatever to show what their powers are, then I think that would have been a much better thing to do. And I really don't understand what this is. It's like a little black hole, and this guy, he can turn to rubber. I don't know, and he can shoots blasts of energy out of his hands. So I wish they just explained a little bit more about that kind of stuff. But they keep fighting, and they're trying to find these new mutants, but they want nothing to do with them, I guess. They rescue Wolverine, and they take off in their newfangled train ship, and they end up back at the factory. And Wolverine says he's had enough of this, enough of losing. He's pissed off about Krakoa being destroyed, and he just kind of takes off. He's like, I'm out of here. So again, Wolverine leaves, and they have a little bit of a conversation with Magneto and how did it go with the detective and all that stuff. And B says, I'm ready to dismantle the thing that is towering over the city. But Scott says, no, I want it to stay up there for a little while longer. I want them to remember what we did for them. And apparently it was a giant robot that they had destroyed or stopped somehow. Did they show that in previous issues somewhere? Did they show this giant creature attacking this Alaskan village or being created by the factory? I don't know. Eventually, I'll go back and get all of the X-Men issues that I've missed because I'm an X-Men purist or collector or whatever, and I want every X-Men. Want to read every X-Men. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it's good, bad, or whatever. I just want it. Why did they waste this page on here? Is this part of the X-Men? It is. It's got the X-Men logo. I'm going to have to check this out, what this is. But I much would have rather it had another page of story. And so that's what I really didn't like about the Hicks books, is that he used up so many pages for just this stupid stuff that had nothing to do with the book, or it had to do with the book, but it was like an advertisement or some kind of exposition saying things that you may have already known or knew or something like that. I just wanted more compact storytelling, and I really didn't get it. Especially, I went to the comic book store, and I bought four new comics and 15 older comics, and it cost me $37. If anybody else is disgusted by that, please let me know, because I am totally and truly disgusted by it. And I would love for them to return to newsprint and make them cheaper. Random Access I have here $1.25. You know, I have that as $1.25 and not $5, is because this is what I spend. You know, I spend maybe 50 cents or 75 cents or something like that on the issue. And if I can have that lower cost, then these Marvel has, you know, this probably cost them a quarter to make. Do they need to spend? Do they need to sell it for $5.99, $6 for a new comic book? I'm not going to rant on that. I probably will at some other point, but I'm just disgusted by the whole economics of comic books in the modern era. So anyway, I did enjoy it. I like the story. I really like Ryan Stegman's art. I haven't had a lot of exposure to him, but I really do enjoy it. There's so much of it that I really like. And the coloring is really fantastic. I like the coloring. Modern comics are supremely colored and stuff. I do wish that they had shown a little bit of exposition to tell me what was going on previously. I felt lost at a lot of times. All of the characters, they read, you know, Cyclops talked like Cyclops, Wolverine talked like Wolverine, etc. So I have no problem with that. And the plot didn't really excite me. So I'm going to rate this. X-Men #1. I'm going to rate this on the Marvel DC scale and not the indie comic scale. I'm going to get X-Men no matter what. So that whole part of it is out the window. I'm going to say that I'm going to give this a 6. And it's mostly because of Ryan Stegman's art. He's really fantastic. I do wish that he had the borders around the each panel. Each panel is borderless. There's no black line. It's just something I personally like a lot better, is when it's encapsulated and it has it like that. But there's a lot of other stuff I love about his art. I mean, it's fantastic. It's obviously fantastic artist, so I really love it. But the story doesn't really make me want to read more X-Men. Just the fact that I love the X-Men, so I'm going to go do it. So it's a different standard, different scale. I'm giving this a 6. Better than average, better than a 5, which is just average. And it's just better than average because Ryan Stegman's art. If I really feel like he's blowing me away with his art, I'll probably give it a bump up in the coming issues. But if story-wise it doesn't, you know, if it leaves me kind of flat like it kind of has, I've got no connection to any of the characters that I love. So it's really hard to say. And the plot was good, but it wasn't fantastic. And yeah, so that's what it is. So X-Men #1, I'm giving it a 6. If you guys like this kind of content, please let me know. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell and all that cool stuff, and give me a thumbs up. But more importantly, I like to hear what you guys think about stuff. Especially, are you reading the new X-Men or any of the other new comics? Are there any new comics that you would suggest that you think is really awesome? But mostly, what do you guys think of the new X-Men? I would really, really, truly like to hear what your thoughts on it are. And so here we go. X-Men getting a 6. And thanks for watching and have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you later and keep on creating.